protection and leveraging of IP has become more critical than ever. Now it is my privilege to invite Mr. Deepak Kulkarni sir to kindly take the charge and conduct the technical session of the day.
Wonderful morning to everybody. I once again welcome you on this second day of international conference. We are moving with the first technical session of this day. Yesterday's session was related to the fundamentals of dissolution, while today's session is exploring the modern trends in intellectual property rights in pharmaceutical sciences. So for this second session, again, this is my privilege to once again welcome our esteemed resource person, Dr. Umesh Banakar sir, for this conduct of this second technical session. So I welcome sir on the stage and I request him to take the charge of dais and continue with the technical session.
Good morning. Good morning. Joke lali ki nahi? Any burning questions from yesterday? Well, before I start, I just want to mention that I am very happy to be here. Number one, that goes without saying. Key part is yesterday was phenomenal in terms of organization. I really was watching the whole thing so seamlessly conducted, very well organized. Kudos to your management. I'm all wired up now. Yeah, almost feels like a rock star. Okay, you are very kind. Really appreciate it. Wow. So I will like to see you guys again. So we will meet under different circumstances also. What are we going to do today? Today we are going to have that's the first one. Intellectual property rights is something in India which is there's a lot of noise, perceived activity, some misleading, mostly confusing, and literally I personally feel it needs a good direction. Just to give you a little bit idea why I am qualified to do this, because you will be wondering, काल dissolution आणि आज कुठे आहे IP उद्या काय तिसऱ्या दिवशी काय दिसेल कोण नाही. My first degree is in pharmacy, second degree is in biopharmaceutics, pharmacokinetics, medicinal chemistry, PhD. Then I have a clinical certification. I'm a doctor too. And then I have advanced training in controlled release technology from MIT, Boston, followed by IPR law. Personally, I have been expert witness and whatnot in 100 patent litigations all over the world. So, I have represented Indian companies as well, pharma. I have represented government. I have represented slanderous advertisement cases. I have represented Federal Trade Commission. So I think I know what I am doing, and let's see how I can relate that to you. So today's topic is predominantly looking into, particularly for you folks, IP as a career. Okay? Because it is not talked about in India, IP as a career, and that is something that we should look into, because पहिला प्रश्न येतो की फार्मसी नंतर करणार काय तुम्ही? ओ एम.फॉर्म करणार, एम.फॉर्म नंतर करणार काय? PhD करणार, PhD नंतर करणार काय? जॉब. ओ रिअली? जॉबला तुम्ही गेल्यावरती इंटरव्ह्यू होणार, and then you will be surprised that the person today sitting next to you, your BFF, is the one who is competing for the same job. मग आता काय करणार? दोघांचं डिग्री सेम आहे, दोघांचं क्वालिफिकेशन सेम आहे. How will you differentiate yourself from your competition? One is on a career side, on the other side is your development. And your development means country's development. How do you differentiate yourself? Why would I want to hire you when I have literally another candidate who has the same qualifications, met everything, every requirement that I want, and I have only one position? Pharmacy करणार काय? Your normal areas where you concentrate on is manufacturing, research, then the detailing, medical representative, detailing, clinical research. So they are the normal stuff. There is nothing wrong. But the key is there is something else other than these careers which you should know about. Okay? Generally, whenever you are talking about a career, what comes to your mind? मनात काय येतं? कुठलं career? Why did you choose pharmacy? Oh, medical नहीं. That is not the reason. Why did you choose pharmacy? BSc पण करू शकला तुम्ही, मायक्रोबायोलॉजी करू शकता, फॅशन डिझाईन करू शका, केटरिंग करू शका, हॉटेल मॅनेजमेंट करू शका. Why did you choose pharmacy? There is something other than boyfriend, girlfriend. There is something that is attractive also. Whenever anybody looks at a career, generally 5 things come up. Number 1 is qualification and competitiveness. Number 2 is opportunities आहेत का त्या career मध्ये. Number 3, growth and development. 1990s. आता AI चालू आहे. बघू काय होतं 5-6 वर्षात. You need these. First is qualifications and competitiveness. Qualifications you have. Competitiveness is the part which I was talking about. The person sitting next to you, your best friend, is going to be your competition. Number 2 is opportunities. You might have a very, very good interest and very high competency level in a very narrow area which has very limited opportunity. आपण बघतो आहे all services. पब्लिक सर्व्हिसेस किती कमी ऑपॉर्च्युनिटीज आहेत तिथे. थर्ड इज growth. Is there growth in it? Because now you're just starting your career. Growth, it should include development also. And last and the most important is there sustenance? Income and sustenance, sorry, income and then sustenance. The growth, it should last for a long time. किती वेळा वाटतं अरे आय हॅव रीच माय मॅक्सिमम, आता काय करू, अजून 20 वर्ष आहेत माझी working situation. I'm able to work for another 10-20 years, but now I've reached my max. So those questions should come to your mind if you are not thinking about these things. Qualifications, competitiveness. Second is opportunities. Third is growth. Fourth is income. And fifth is sustenance. पाचही जिथे आहेत, that is a good career. So let's see. I'm going to open up some ideas in your mind with actual examples. Yesterday you must have seen I actually give examples. This is not theory or textbook. And the second thing is you will not find this in Google or ChatGPT. So that's why it makes it more usable. Okay? Presentation चालू होण्याच्या आधी I want 3 commitments from you, and I will make 3 commitments from myself to you. What will I do? Okay. Mindset आहे इंडियामध्ये, ओ कोणी अमेरिकेला आलं की येतात बोलून जातात अमेरिका 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 अमेरिका. I'm not going to talk about US. IPR. That is my commitment for you, to you. Second, I will talk only about India. IPR and India and the career sudha. Okay? And at some time it may or may not hurt, I don't know, but it may hurt sometime. So don't kill the messenger. Because I'll be giving facts. So we'll come to know a lot of stuff. And tisra is I would like it to be interactive. ठीक है, group मोठा है खूप, but at least you should start thinking about when I ask a question. 3 commitments I want from you is number 1, cell phones ban. Second commitment is try to be interactive. And third is I need your UPay, Visa card, MasterCard, certain numbers with PIN code. That I can pay for this time. Okay. All right. This IPR is something which is little misunderstood in India. IPR म्हणजे सगळा law आहे. Okay. So there is a notion in India that IPR is all law. No, law comes way at the end. Okay? If there is no IP, there is no requirement for law. And IP कोण जनरेट करता आपण बघूया. So without IP, there is no requirement for law. Number 2 is, it is very complicated. It is not complicated at all. ते पण बघू आपण थोडा आज. Third is, it is very expensive. We don't even know what it is, and आपण त्याला पहिलंच लावून टाकलं लेबल की एक्सपेन्सिव्ह आहे, एक्सपेन्सिव्ह एक्सपेन्सिव्ह. And now I'm putting in the fourth part is IP as a career पण होऊ शकतो. which is very lucrative, long lasting, where your expertise is the one that is going to be the critical part. तुमच्याशिवाय होऊ शकत नाही IP. तर आपण काय बघणार आहोत की आयपीचं डोमेन काय आहे. आयपीचं डोमेन फक्त इंडिया पॅटर्न घ्यायचं नाहीये. That is a very, very, very minuscule, small percentage of the entire domain of IPR. सेकंड आपण बघणार आहोत की या डोमेन मध्ये आपली पोझिशन काय आहे. Where do we fit in? We meaning we are scientists, no matter what we are technical people. Where do we fit in? And third is या डोमेन ऑफ IPR मध्ये आपली जर पोझिशन एकदम क्रिटिकल, क्रुशियल, मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टंट, सिग्निफिकंट जे काय तुम्हाला ऍडजेक्टिव्ह लावायचे लावा आहे, तर डेफिनेटली देयर इज अ करिअर देअर. सो ते बघूया आपण. And then I'll give you how this can become a career and how this is to some extent becoming a kind of opening up in India now, and it will blossom. Three part presentation hai. First part is IPR India ला कशाला पाहिजे. कोणी तुम्हाला सांगितलेलं नाही. पॅटर्न घ्या, पॅटर्न घ्या, पॅटर्न घ्या, पॅटर्न घ्या, सगळं सांगितलं ओरडत आहे. इंडियन पॅटर्न घ्या, इंडियन पॅटर्न घ्या, इंडियन पॅटर्न घ्या, बिकॉज इट पेट्रियोटिक ड्युटी असं मला सांगितलं गेलं. कोणी सांगितलं नाही आम्हाला की IPR इंडियाला का जरूरत आहे. So I will do a first presentation, the first part of the presentation, to set a baseline as to why we should be interested in IPR as a country. We are the pharma of the world म्हणून तुम्ही आला फार्मसी मध्ये. 140 देशांना आम्ही जेनेरिक मॅन्युफॅक्चर करून देतो म्हणून तुम्ही म्हणला दिस इज अ गुड ऑपॉर्च्युनिटी. It is. So something went into your mind to come to pharmacy as a potential career where you can grow whatever things that I talked about. आणि आता ड्रम पॅटर्न घ्या, पॅटर्न घ्या, पॅटर्न घ्या, पॅटर्न घ्या, पॅटर्न घ्या. त्याच्यानंतर काय करा माहित नाही. So the first part of the presentation is why we need IPR India. Second part of the presentation is domain of IPR and where do we fit in. डोमेन असं इतकं काही नाही आहे की 50 तिचे पार्ट्स आहेत. फार्मसीमध्ये गेलं की there are 13-14 डिसिप्लिन्स. ते फक्त 3 आहे, मॅक्सिमम 4. चौथा अजून बिग क्वेश्चन मार्क आहे इंडियामध्ये, पण 3 आहेत मेन. असं इतकं मोहे नाही आहे. And then we will reach a conclusion as to where do we fit in and how can it be a career. And the last part would be a 5-minute or 10-minute presentation on our center. Why is it not becoming a big movement, but it is taking that shape. So I hope you get interested. I'll make it as interesting as possible. Number one, with all actual information plus टेंशन लेने का नहीं, बिना टेंशन बात करेंगे. पैटर्न मिलने की टेंशन, कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है, लॉ है, एक्सपेन्सिव्ह आहे, पहिलंच टेन्शन. आणि आता करायलाच पाहिजे. नो. ओके, ऑलराइट. So the first question is What is the significance of the year 2047? Correct? Vikasit Bharat. Vikasit is developed. कोणी लॉयरला विचारा, तुम्ही जर म्हणले की आम्ही 2047 मध्ये आम्ही विकसित भारत डेव्हलप कंट्री होणार आहोत, यू आर admitting you are not developed right now. It's not wrong or right. That's what it is. Do you know what is developed? Yes, that which is not underdeveloped is developed. What is underdeveloped? That which is not developed is underdeveloped. Then what is developing? Complicate कर दिया आपने. Is there a definition for first world country? Oh, Japan is a first world country, England is a first world country, Sri Lanka is a third world country, Bangladesh is third world country. Do we know definitions of any of these? No, there are none. कधी ऐकलं second world country? नाही. But World Bank has classified since late 50s, 1950s. असं नाही आजचं उद्याचं किंवा politically motivated. World Bank, they have identified, they have classified every single country in the world only in 3 categories: underdeveloped, developing, and developed. All developed. थोडं चला. 1947, when we got independence, we were underdeveloped by those criteria. Late 90s, we slipped into developing, and by 2047, we want to be developed. Right? What do you think are the criteria that come to mind? Self-reliance. Anything else? Economy. Economy in what sense? Other GDP buyer. $2 trillion, $5 trillion, that has nothing to do with, or no, not nothing, it has very little to do with being classified as developed. 30 criteria आहेत, त्याच्यामध्ये GDP is at the bottom. आणि आपण GDP growth म्हणून टॅव करत असतो. त्याच्यापेक्षा जास्ती आम्ही $2 trillion इकॉनॉमी आहे, $5 trillion will become. इंडियामध्ये SEC आहे, सिक्युरिटीज अँड एक्सचेंज कमिशन, तुम्ही स्टॉक्स ट्रेड करता. तसं US मध्ये देर इज फेडरल ट्रेड कमिशन, स्टॉक ट्रेड करता. स्मॉल कंपनी ऑर्गनायझेशन, सॉरी, that has a market cap of 190 trillion. आणि आपण 5 आणि 2 ट्रिलियन मध्ये आपण वाटतं आपल्याला की आपण डेव्हलप झालो. नो, that is not the criteria. Prominent criteria in top 5 is per capita income. Per capita income of a country. Right? Bear with me. Per capita income is from the poorest to the richest. World Bank says every year they look at the per capita income of the world currency country. What is the world currency today? It happens to be, तिसऱ्यांदा सांगतो, it happens to be USD. Was it USD all the time? नाही. पहिलं it was Krugerrand, South Africa, precious metals, diamonds, gold, platinum, silver. That was the world currency. Then it got into sterling pound, UK. त्याच्यानंतर US went into bed with Middle East, and then the economy was turned to oil. आणि आता बघतोय काय होतोय आपण वर्ल्ड मध्ये. So right now it happens to be that. Now what is the significance of that? The significance is World Bank says whatever the world currency is, the country of which this world currency is, you look at the per capita income of that country. So what is the per capita income of US? Right from a homeless person to Bill Gates, Bezos, and जे कोणते आहेत ते. Per capita income in US is 78,800, rounded up to 80,000. Average from lowest to highest. What is the per capita income of India today in USD? Is $1,867. Round up to 2,000. Okay, now connection काय? The criteria to determine or designate a country in three categories: underdeveloped, developing, and developed, is how much time a country will take, given its per capita income, to reach 1/4 of world currency per capita income. World currency per capita income is USD is 80,000, 1/4 of that is 20,000. Simple math hai. So how much time it will take for India to get from 2,000 per capita income USD to 20,000, 10 times. किती वेळ लागेल? विचार करा. What is your guess? Professors ask a question only when they know the answer. According to the standard validated calculations, it will take 77 years. China will take only 9 years. Why China? China's economy in 1947 was similar to ours. How much time Israel will take? Israel was a country created in 1947. It will take 13 to 15 years. Same independence here. How much time Brazil will take? Why Brazil? Most recent entry into World Intellectual Property Organization as a member country. We entered in 1995, they entered in 2003. They will take only 11 to 15 years. How much time our friends will take in Pakistan? आता कळेल तुम्हाला काय डेव्हलपमेंट आहे. ओनली 51 years. Shock. Building roads is not development, my dear guys. Please understand that. Building toilets is not development. That is the prerequisite. Infrastructure is the prerequisite for development. Okay? Let's not get into the politics of it. आजच्या इन्व्हेस्टमेंट मध्ये आपण पुढे कसं ग्रोथ करायचं त्याचे दॅट इज मोर क्रिटिकल. So anyway, so the numbers tell us that, well, we need to buckle up and we need to speed up our so-called development, because we are definitely not at a point where, according to the calculations, we are developing. So now, next question is, which countries come to your mind that are developed countries? Not by World Bank. डोक्यात काय येतं? Which are developed countries? Japan, Western Europe, सगळे तुमचे ते स्वित्झर्लंड, स्वीडन, नॉर्वे, UK, इटली, जर्मनी, फ्रान्स, सगळे वेस्टर्न युरोप. China, Australia, Canada. Were they developed on day one? 1774 मध्ये जेव्हा US ला इंडिपेंडन्स मिळाला, no got developed. Till Second World War was not developed. त्यावेळेला Germany was the most developed country. So then, now they are all developed according to World Bank, not me. They are maintaining that for so many years. इंडक्शन सेमिनार तुम्ही कॉलेजला आला पाहिजे तेव्हा का मोटिवेशनल स्पीकर काय सांगितलं, इट इज व्हेरी डिफिकल्ट टू अचीव ग्रेटनेस बट इट इज मोर डिफिकल्ट टू मेंटेन इट. सो नाव वी वॉन्ट टू बिकम डेव्हलप्ड बाय 2047. 2048 मध्ये काय होणार? प्रलय. Nobody knows. At least we should, if we become developed in whatever year, we want to maintain that, correct? So what did these countries do to get to that status and maintain that? Getting to that status is prosperity. There is one way of measuring prosperity. And maintaining that is sustainability. So we need sustainable prosperity. Prosperity, what comes to your mind? मनात काय येतं? Prosperous. मी आता prosperous व्हायचंय मला. काय येतं मनात? पैसे 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 पैसे. That is one part of it. I'm not denying that. तुम्ही एलिमेंटरी स्कूल, प्रायमरी स्कूल मध्ये गेला तेव्हा तुम्ही चालत गेला. सेकंडरी मध्ये गेला तेव्हा तुम्हाला बायसिकल मिळाली. कॉलेजमध्ये गेला तेव्हा तुम्हाला मोबाईल मिळाली. गर्लफ्रेंड बॉयफ्रेंड आला की म्हणजे मोबाईल जरा जास्त कलरफुल मिळाली. जॉब मिळाला तेव्हा मग 4 व्हीलर आलं, मारुती 800. प्रमोशन मिळालं मग ऑडी आली. व्हाईस प्रेसिडेंट झाला तर मग फार्मस. दॅट इज टेक्निकल प्रॉस्पेरिटी, इकॉनॉमिक प्रॉस्पेरिटी. 10वी पास झाला, शादी.com मध्ये प्रोफाईल करून टाका, किती येतात बघू. रिवाइज दॅट व्हेन यू गेट युअर B.Pharm, किती येतात बघू कॉल्स. M.Pharm झाला, एव्हरी मंथ यायला लागले. PhD झाला, एव्हरी वीक यायला लागले. जॉब मिळाला, 2 एक दिवशी यायला लागले. प्रमोशन मिळालं, सरळ फ्रेंडशिप. दॅट इज सोशल प्रॉस्पेरिटी. मूवी झालेले आता असे तुम्ही पिक्चर घेता, व्हायरल करता, किती लाईक आले तुला? 14 लाख. ओ मला पण 4च लाख आले. डिप्रेशन. So prosperity is not just making money. You need prosperity which is beyond that, which will continue. त्याच्यासाठी तुम्ही B.Pharm केलं ना, नाहीतर BSc करून काय झालं ना, असतं प्रॉस्परस, but not as much. So there is, without you even knowing it, there is a plan that went into motion. So now let us see what these countries do. की त्यांना असे प्रॉस्पेरिटी करत गेले, प्रॉस्परस होत गेले, and they are maintaining it. ते विकसित भारत मध्ये, I am putting words in there because there is no definition for विकसित भारत other than self-reliance. आम्हाला self-reliance व्हायचंय. 90s मध्ये ग्रीन रेव्होल्युशन आली इंडियामध्ये, जेव्हा इंदिरा गांधींनी निक्सनला सांगितलं तोडणार, गो टू हेल्थ. तेव्हापासून नाव वी आर व्हेरी मच प्रॉस्परस अँड सेल्फ रिलायंट ऑन फूड ग्रेन, सो मच सो दॅट वी आर डम्पिंग इट, कारण रॉट होत आहे. So you have to look at prosperity is not just money, it has to be looked into a long-term plan. आहे का आपल्याकडे, which not only will give us growth but will also maintain that. Okay? Where is IPR in this? ते बघूया आपला. So what we need is basically, we need prosperity, which we have defined is much beyond just making money, and it has to be sustainable. हजार सेमिनार तुम्ही ऐकलेले असतील, सस्टेनेबल प्रॉस्पेरिटी, सस्टेनेबल एनर्जी, सस्टेनेबल हे ग्रोथ आणि सस्टेनेबल, ते विचारलं का कधी तुम्ही प्रॉस्पेरिटी काय आणि सस्टेनेबिलिटी काय आहे? So we will take a look at examples of sustainable prosperity, and maybe that is the key for these countries, and then unlock it to see where does IPR fit in. त्यावेळेला आपल्याला I hope एकदम एनलाइटनमेंट होईल की आपल्याला का IPR पाहिजे. Most valuable brands of 2025, very recent. Top 5 have been in top 5 for last 9 years that I know of. Amazon was number 1 last 2 years. It went to number 4 now. Amazon tapri on the street. Idhar ka maal lao, udhar ko de do. Apple is number 1, 2. Apple and Google have always exchanged places for number 2 and 3, but now they're 1 and 2. High-tech giants. Apple is $574 billion brand. Top 5 happen to be US, doesn't have to be. If you take the total of that, it is equal to 60% of entire India's economy. And they are maintaining that for so many years. TikTok is old. TikTok is about 11, 13 years old. 2023 मध्ये TikTok was number 17 in top 25. 2024 मध्ये number 10. 2025 मध्ये it is number 7. Whoa. कुठे आहे TCS? कुठे आहे Reliance? कुठे आहे Mahindra and Mahindra? Not even in top 150. Sorry. This is where we want to be. Okay, now let's see the actual part, which comes down to exactly what this development is and sustainability of that development. Weapons technology, disciplines बघूया आपण, नाहीतर नेहमी आपलं फार्मा 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 फार्मा. डेव्हलपमेंट फक्त फार्माने इंडिया पुढे जाणार नाहीये. Weapons technology, F-bomber series started in 1954. पहिला IPR. Russia was even earlier, 1940, MiGs. आता आपण आमच्याकडे F-33 बॉम्बर आहे. किती लाख करोड तुम्ही ते you paid for that? आमच्याकडे MiG पण आहे. किती लाख करोड लागले तिथे? 3 major players in the world for weapons technology are US, Russia and France. राफेलची स्टोरी आपल्याला माहिती आहे. कमर्शियल एअरलाईन US ला जातो आम्ही, जम्बो मध्ये जातो, बोईंग जेट. ओके, 700 jumbo series started in 1960. पहिलं IPR Boeing. Small planes, small distance they used, could fly. Now continuous improvement, incremental innovation. 780 Boeing 787 dreamliner can fly non-stop up to 15 hours. That's the one I fly in. I have not bought one. I just have a passenger. I can at best say, Mary seat. For that also I have to pay pretty hefty. Anyway, but Air India has placed an order for 400 Boeing A320s. याद यायला लागले. इफ यू सी एअर इंडिया प्लेन्स तर नवीन आहे ते मागे टेल वरती A320 लिहिलेलं आहे. हॉप ऑन टू एनी इंडिगो एअरलाइन फ्लाइट, दोज आर एम्ब्रेयर्स. तुम्ही ते सेफ्टी वाचाल तेव्हा एका बाजूला पोर्चुगीज आहे, दुसऱ्या बाजूला इंग्लिश आहे. इट इज अ ब्राझिलियन commercial airline. Most recent entry into WIPO, they are already in top 3 for commercial airlines. Indigo has placed an order for 350 Embraers. Think about how much we are paying through our nose and whatever, eyes, ears, whatever, for this. They own the technology. Ambani kade plane hai, Adani kade plane hai, Narayan Murthy kade plane hai. Those are luxuries. Major world player is Lockheed Gulfstream, UK. We buy. I'm not saying that we have to produce every time, but it is pretty expensive because they are the ones who own the technology. They have the rights. AG, low G, 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, 6G. Original invention was Japanese, 1979. IPR. What we have to do is they did, which everybody does or should do. They evaluated, audited it. किती value है, importance है. They miscalculated. They said, oh, these are mostly, it will be regional communication. जसे आपले WhatsApp group असतात तशी. So they said, this is not much. US bought it from them in 83. It is not US's invention. They bought it from them and they are now the sole Wi-Fi communication. Sole. Qualcomm येऊन गेला. Sole. 2G, 3G, 4G झाले की आपल्याकडे हर मोहल्ले में टावर खड़ा. हमारे बिल भी बढ़ जाते हैं. Because licenses are in multiple lakh crores. Owned by only US. Are Baba. Engagement can be made and also can be destroyed. iPhone 16 मिलेगा तो ही हाँ बोलूंगी. वो भी प्रो चाहिए. Apple and South Korean Samsung, they are always head to head fighting for IPR, their rights in court for their inventions. Look at where they are. 2014 ते 2025. 17 Pro, 1,70,000 INR. More than 100 patents in this, but only one unit. Value. Why is Apple prospering so much? Continued prosperity, sustainable. Whenever a company grows, like India, they get traded in. They have to get traded by law on this stock exchange. Separate SEC, FTC, Federal Trade Commission. The important part is whenever you get there, you have to file annual report. And the annual report, there is a section which talks about, or you have to disclose ki, in general, not particular, ki tumche research strategy काय आहे next 5 years ची. Apple 13 and 14 च्या वेळेला त्यांच्या annual report मध्ये लिहिलं होतं की by 2027 they will come up, research strategy मध्ये they will come up with a flip top iPhone. लेकिन कमबख्त सैमसंग ने बारी मार ली. First flip top which is owned by for IPR is Samsung. Yes, they will Apple will come with some other version. But talk about competitiveness, talk about owning future technology, talk about so-called upon the commercialization, look at the value generation and maintaining it, which will give us prosperity which is sustainable. हाँ ते जाऊ दे आमचं फार्मसी तो बोला था. It doesn't matter whether IP is in pharmacy or fashion design or agriculture or weapons technology, IP is IP. We also design molecules, we also synthesize new compounds, we also patent new compounds, and then we just sit still. Every single molecule has been patented, this has been commercialized, has been successful commercially, and we are making generics. We want to be this. These are the IPR dates. Can we do this? That is what we would like to do without anybody telling you that this is what is needed. That's why IPR is important. आता थोडं थोडं ओढायला लागले. Therapeutic areas. ACE inhibitors and then beta blockers came out from there. The first one, Sotalol, 1962. Now the series. Every single damn thing is patented. Every single one is commercialized, successful, making billions, and we make generics. This is where we have to be. This is where we want to be. This is where we aspire to be. Without knowing that this is what, nobody has articulated that to us. आपल्याला सांगितलं गेलं पॅटर्न घ्या, पॅटर्न घ्या, पॅटर्न घ्या, पॅटर्न घ्या, पॅटर्न घ्या. ना आता कळायला लागलं आपल्याला थोडं थोडं घेऊ कशासाठी घ्यायचं. एवढ्या टेक्नॉलॉजीज आहेत, एवढ्या डिसिप्लिन्स आहेत. Look at where are our strengths in the country, make those as our thrust areas, and in those thrust areas have a targeted development, which is every single step is protected and then commercialize it and continue to do incremental innovation. That will take the country forward. रस्ते आणि टॉयलेट बनून नाही, एका दो करून नाही, ट्रेडिंग मध्ये नाही, मर्चेंडायझिंग मध्ये नाही. Position of a country will be stronger once they have economic superiority, and that economic superiority is one way of looking at prosperity, which is predominantly driven by innovation, and that innovation has to be protected, and during the time it is protected, it has to be commercialized, or we need to get the value of it and continue to develop in that. Then we can see 20-30 वर्षानंतर, yes, we will be in that category. ठीक आहे, आम्ही नवी मॉलिक्युल आम्हाला इट इज नॉट इझी. $1 billion is required. Fine. This is a small company. What they did was they took a 1961 molecule. Opiates कशासाठी, देवीनो सातोस्कर आमचं पाठ आहे, पेन रिलीफ. So they took this morphine derivative, made a sustained release formulation of it, got a patent. Formulation मध्ये आपण expert आहोत. They took a patent, commercialized it. आम्हाला माहिती आहे 20 वर्ष हे मिळते, एक्सक्लुसिव्ह मिळते. 2008 मध्ये त्यांना पॅटंट मिळालं, कमर्शियलाइज केलं. started to make billions. 20 वर्षानंतर 2028 मध्ये the product will be falling off the cliff. म्हणजे पॅटर्न संपलं, गप बसले नाही. 11 पॅटर्न घेतले इन्क्रिमेंटल इनोव्हेशन, 11. Now the life of that product is now extended, controlled exclusively by that organ company till 2037. Now we can start to think about why IPR is required. Last example, which cannot be better than the way to understand what is sustainable prosperity. We synthesize new molecules, so did Pfizer. They call that molecule venlafaxine. We synthesize, we take a pattern and we evaluate it for kutla disease state madhe this will be useful, and then we label it as lead compound. They did the same thing, standard stuff. तेव्हा त्यांना कळलं की it is a CNS drug. It is useful, it will be useful for treating depression. It will also be useful for urinary incontinence, CNS drug, post 55 and 60 years old. Then they evaluated की भाई दोन्ही घेऊन जाणं मूर्खपणा आहे, कारण दोन्ही जर आपण कमर्शियलाइज केले तर we don't know which patients and how the patients will differentiate. हे सगळं ऑडिटिंग अँड व्हॅल्युएशन ऑफ युअर पॅटंट or IPR. That we have not done yet much. So we do this part. They did all that evaluation, set up US में depression low खूप है तो. Number one category, topmost category for FDA is neuropsychology, neuropsych medicine, which is depression, one part of it. So they said, okay, we will put it up in commercial as antidepressant, immediate release formulation. Patent number 2, Effexor, copyrighted, the name Effexor. 20 वर्ष, 3 times a day, alle pharmacists, formulators, 3 times a day, TID converted to OD, once a day. Took the 3 doses, put it into micro tablets, put it into a mini tablet, put it into a capsule, Effexor XR, patent number 3. Patients होते ते पुढे गेला, oh, seed is more convenient, वगैरे वगैरे वगैरे, more successful than Effexor IR. Another 20 years. ते जसं हे व्हायला लागलं, चढ़ता सूरज धीरे धीरे ढलने लग गया. 4th patent, new use, urinary incontinence. 4th patent. एका मॉलिक्यूलवर, एक मॉलिक्यूल कंपनीने 37 वर्षावरती राज्य केलं. Collected over $60 billion. एक molecule, 37 years. Cannot be a better example in sustainable prosperity. आपण इथे आहोत. Molecule and patenting. आपल्याला इकडे पोहोचायचंय. So now you have got an idea की बाबा काय IPR important आहे. Alright, next phase is, let's see इंडियामध्ये काय चाललंय. असं नाही की IPR टोटली न्यू टू इंडिया, मी तुम्हाला काहीतरी असं वेगळंच काहीतरी सांगतोय. People know about IPR in general. Novartis the molecule patent होतं, हाय होतं US मध्ये, very successful, commercially very much successful. They wanted to have a patent in India, touch the territorial right. They filed for a patent in India for that product, which is a combination of sacubitril and valsartan. Those are cardiovascular drugs, antihypertension. थोडं जरा डेटचा थोडं ध्यान द्या. जानेवारी 2020 मध्ये त्यांनी पॅटंट फाईल केलं. डिसेंबर 14, 2022 मध्ये त्यांना पॅटंट मिळालं US पॅटंट ऑफिस कडनं. 17 generic companies in India were ready with their generic products, all bioequivalence वगैरे जे काय करते ते CDSCO करून रेडी होते, अप्रुव्हल घेऊन, manufactured the batches ready to go on to the market on January 14th, 13th midnight. कारण ते patent पहिलं Novartisचं would have expired in India. रेडी होते, लागली त्यांची 14 डिसेंबर 22 मध्ये इंडियन पॅटंटनी त्यांना पॅटंट दिलं. आता ते 2029 पर्यंत सगळे 17 जेनेरिक कंपनी लटकले. वन ऑफ इट वॉज नॅटको. नॅटको म्हणाले की व्हॉट इज दिस इज व्हेरी वियर्ड की जनरली 3 वर्ष लागतात इंडियामध्ये पॅटंट मिळायला, तर ह्याला 2 वर्षातच कसं मिळालं. ते स्टार्टेड टू डिग प्लस कमर्शियल इंटरेस्ट ऑल्सो. So they realized something very interesting. वेबसाईट वर गेले ते पॅटंट नंबरवरती क्लिक केल्यावरती तिथे काही नाही आहे, फक्त डेट ऑफ ऍप्लिकेशन, डेट ऑफ ग्रांट. There is no publication date, there is no review date, there is no nothing in terms of any review, there is nothing in terms of office action, there is nothing in terms of grant. सरळ granted. गेले हायकोर्टला हरी सिंग. Novartis filed a writ petition citing procedural irregularities and violation of principles of natural justice by none other than Assistant Controller of Patent Office. I will leave it up to your imagination and call as to काय झालं असेल. So Justice Hari Singh said this is illegal activity by the patent office itself. Will set the patent aside. He did not invalidate the patent because NATCO didn't ask for that. So the patent is granted and it holds, except it was set aside so that inche generic जाऊ द्या. Fast forward 2025, 2023 मध्ये झालं. Fast forward 2025, September. The same patent office, Indian patent office now says this patent is should not be granted. Granted patent ला सांगितलं granted नाही व्हायला पाहिजे का? There is no inventive step. तुम्हाला आज BGPS ने डिग्री दिली, 2 वर्षांत सांगितलं तुमची डिग्री नाही हो, आम्ही बाकी घेतो डिग्री, because it didn't qualify. That is what Indian Patent Office has done. दुसरी गोष्ट 2023 आणि 2025 मध्ये the same Novartis patent was challenged in US and in Europe for invalidation. And Novartis won for validation. So the patent stood valid. मग आपली परत जेनेरिकची फाटली का? Because now the patent that was granted in India in 2022 will be held legally valid, and now Novartis will come after these generics for 2 things, not only infringement but second is damages. Damages म्हणजे 2022 पासून ते 2025 पर्यंत every single tablet that they have sold, they have to pay 3 times that back for violation. मग त्यांनी काय केलं? Same generic companies made a consortium. But they cannot file a suit for invalidation now because they are already on the market. So त्यांनी ते consortium file केलं आणि सांगितलं, oh, now we are going to challenge the patent. आणि आमचे उषाराव, PT उषार नाही, D उषाराव. Same office which had granted the patent said, now this patent cannot be granted because it doesn't meet the patenting requirements. अरे काय stupidity आहे. पहिलं it met December 14, 2022 आणि आता the granted patent now suddenly the patenting office says it is revoked because there is no inventive step. टीव्ही बघता का आपण? तुमचे फॅकल्टी बसले तिथे पुढे, आम्ही फक्त अभ्यास करतो. त्या अभ्यासामध्ये युट्यूब बघतो मी, पण थोडं थोडं. सिरियल बघता का? ये रिश्ता क्या कहलाता है. Hero and heroine are enjoying. काय होतं? When the action is about to happen, what happens? तंदुरुस्ती की रक्षा करता है लाइफ बॉय. ऍडव्हर्टाइजमेंट येते आणि ऍडव्हर्टाइजमेंट मध्ये 3 गोष्टी होतात. एक, व्हॉल्यूम वाढतो. दुसरं, ग्लेअर वाढतो स्क्रीनचा. Not good for the ears and not good for the eyes. These are number of frames that are thrown at you so that there is a subliminal impact on your brain की आठवण राहील आपली प्रॉडक्टची. That you cannot do anything. So ओपन टीव्ही म्हणून एक कंपनी आहे इंडियामध्ये, त्यांनी ट्रान्सफॉर्मर बनवला. कशासाठी? की बाबा हे जेव्हा स्विच होतं ऍडव्हर्टाइजमेंट, तेव्हा ट्रान्सफॉर्मर will come active. It will bring down the volume to the same volume it was before. It will bring down the glare. And third, they cannot do anything. But these two will be now better for your eyes and ears. Indian Patent Office मध्ये फाईल केलं patent, open TV. Indian Patent Office said, Section 3K, you cannot patent algorithm-based inventions. Algorithm based invention is तुम्ही कुठे इक्वेशन लिहिली आणि त्या इक्वेशन मध्ये whatever information you put into that, expected result you get. So expected result means that is not patentable. So it said that well, algorithm based inventions are not patentable. Section 3K says that. So open TV ने त्यांना हायकोर्ट मध्ये घेऊन गेले. जस्टिस प्रतिभा सिंग. Open TV said, see, we are not asking for a patent for the algorithm. We are asking for the product from the algorithm. She understood that. Simple hai, big deal. Indian Patent Office ne testimony dili. We also understand that, but the problem is that transformer will not work without the algorithm working. So it is dependent on that prerequisite. So therefore, it is an algorithm-based invention which is falls under Section 3K. So we cannot patent it. Justice Pratibha Singh said to Open TV, I cannot ask the patent office to re-examine as per what you want. And she told Indian Patent Office also is, you cannot change the law. But she made a very important statement in her ruling. She said she expressed her concerns at the fact that many inventions may be excluded from being patented because they are in emerging technologies, including those by the startups, SMEs, and education institutions. IT मध्ये आपण तीर मारणार तसं चाललंय आपलं. Emerging technology. Future technology we want to patent first so that we can get control and then we can do something and hopefully prosper. पण आपला हा लॉ प्रॉब्लेम होणार आहे. She made that notice. Basically, she said, scrap it. Fast forward 2025. Ab initio near India Patent Office मध्ये फाईल केलं patent की they can generate energy or electricity without sunshine. ते patent office ला काय आवडलं नाही. Oh, it is all theoretical, it is all frivolous, there is no inventive step म्हणून reject केलं आणि section 3K. It is all theoretical. Now Justice Gopalakrishnan said, Madras High Court मध्ये computer related invention should not be barred under your section 3K. थोडे आपलं डोळे उघडायला लागले. Can a judge change the law? No. Can you change the law? No. Can I change the law? I would like to. No. Who makes the law? Parliament makes the law. They have to be told कसं करायचं. So they have to change the law. Now that we are stuck with the law, हे इसम कोण आहे माहिती का? यांना बघितलं का? आपण यांना ओळखता का? A.R. Rahman. Lately, in last 5-6 years, you have not come across any T-series remixes. Right? You must be wondering, काय झालं? बिझनेस गेला का? तो बिझनेस करता येत नाही, कारण इकडचे तिकडचे चॅट जीपीटी इकडचे करून माझं मॅन्युस्क्रिप्ट आहे, मला कॉपीराइट द्या, बोलू शकत नाही. इलिगल कॉपीराइट व्हायलेशन. तर या महाराजांनी डॅगर ब्रदर्सचे कॉम्पोजिशन घेतले, ते पीसेस घेतले. ही मेड अ कलेक्शन अँड सेड इट इज माइन अँड ही put it into, I think it was Malayalam or Tamil. So Dagger brothers took them to court in Hyderabad. I think it is the same Hari Singh. Yeah. Pratibha Singh, sorry. So she said, no, it is infringing. So infringement in India carries two penalties. One is punitive, which is fine, 2 crores fine paper. And second, jail. That was waived off with certain commitments. You can read it if you want to. Okay. वरचा ऍडिडास आहे का आदिदास आहे? हो. खालचा ऍडिडास आहे का आदिदास आहे? अरे बायस आहे तुम्ही. सेम स्पेलिंग आहे. एकाला ऍडिडास, एकाला आदिदास. अरे आमच्या सोसायटीमध्ये when I was old, now I am young. एक मुलगी 3 महिने समर एक्सचेंज प्रोग्राम मध्ये US ला जाणार. 3 महिन्यानंतर म्हणते, I cannot speak Marathi. ते तसं आला आता. ऍडिडास आणि आदिदास. हा ब्रँड कोणाचा आहे? साऊथ आफ्रिका आहे. What comes to your mind with that brand? हे शू आहे ना, पुढे शू सारखं आहे. It is a sports brand. That logo is on wristbands, socks, jerkins, t-shirts, shorts. सगळीकडे Adidas. It is a brand which is recognized. Which is a very expensive brand too. केशव तुलसियानी, त्यांचे पण विविंग मिल्स आहे, त्यांचं पण टेक्सटाईल इंडस्ट्री आहे, त्यांचे पण गारमेंट स्टोर्स आहे, जिथे ते रेडीमेड गारमेंट्स विकतात. तर त्यांनी आदिदास बनवून ते शॉर्ट्स वरती आदिदास, सॉक्स वरती आदिदास, T-shirt or Adidas, selling at 60% discount or 60% less than Adidas. या Adidasला आली मिरची लागणारच commercial space. So they took them to court. Sanjeev Narola's court in Delhi, and सांगितलं बाबा असंच आहे ते Narola, yes, it is infringement, pay fine for so many lakhs. आदिदासने टेस्टिमनी काय दिली दिली याच्यामध्ये कोर्टमध्ये. According to defendants, the name Adidas was selected because defendant number 1, Keshav Tulsiani, partner director of Adidas Weaving Mills, Textile Industries and Merchandise Private Limited, held a deep admiration for his sister, who he called Adi, and he said, "I am her das." नरोलाजींनी सांगितलं तुम्ही 3 गोष्टी करा. फाईन पे करा, मार्केटून बाहेर जा, बट मेक शुअर दॅट यू कंटिन्यू टू सर्व्ह युअर सिस्टम. डोळे उडायला लागलेत की IPRचं इम्पॉर्टन्स काय. प्रत्येक वर्षी April 26 इज IPR डे, तेव्हा रिपोर्ट येतो. माझ्याकडनं नाही, पॉलिटिकल कंट्रीमधनं नाही, पॉलिटिकल रिपोर्ट नाही. दिस इज अन ऑर्गनायझेशन which has been set up by WIPO to check what is the status of IPR in all WIPO member countries. 100च्या पेक्षा जास्ती आहे. We entered into WIPO in 1995. Brazil entered into 2003. तर त्यांचे क्रायटेरिया इव्हॅल्युएशन मध्ये we are top on the list, on the wrong list. We are number 1 violators of IPR for last 9 years. पहिला नंबर आहे, आपण म्हणतो पहिला आला का आलो, शेवटचं खालणार. They have cited 4 reasons. Number 1, inadequate enforcement of IPR. Last, India is yet to implement WIPO. 1995 पासून आज 2026 झालं आणि वी आर स्टील इम्प्लिमेंटिंग. हे मी नाही म्हणत, ह्या बाई म्हणतात. US मध्ये त्याला विचारलं गेलं, इज इंडिया ऍट पार विथ IPR. 2024 मध्ये she says, we are trying to make IPR laws work. Any lawyer will tell you that, well, when you are trying, it is an admission that you have not done it. तुम्हाला F grade आली क्लासमध्ये, कोर्समध्ये, प्रोफेसरकडे जाता तुम्ही. I tried, I was trying. ग्रेड चेंज होते का? प्रोफेसर काय म्हणतात? ट्राय हार्डर. 27 वर्ष झाली, 27 का 30 वर्ष झाली आणि वी आर स्टील ट्राईंग. आपल्याकडे ही पोझिशन आहे. हे सगळे व्हॉट्सअप करून इंडियामध्ये फिरतं की घर वापसी, फॅमिली गेट टुगेदर. लास्ट एक्झाम्पल, generics. आपण generics मध्ये ग्रेट आहोत ना, which is good. I am not criticizing or sarcastic नाहीये. Janssen Lab US आहे, त्याचे इंडियन आउटपुट इज Janssen Labs. Janssen Lab's original product is an anti-cancer medication which was very well successful in the world. They were making billions. They filed a patent in India. They got the patent in India. They are making even today multiple crores per month. ते आम्हाला generics ना थोडा किडा आला. 5 generic companies, Natco Pharma, Hetero Pharma, BDR Pharma, Shilpa Medicare, Alchem आणि Laurus. त्यांनी generic करून CDS जो अप्रुव्हल वगैरे घेऊन चालू केला विकायला ड्रग. Janssen Labs took them to court. Justice Hari Singh in Hyderabad, it is infringing. Justice said, oh, infringing, how do you evaluate infringement? आमच्याकडे लॉजच नाहीत, पॉलिसीज पण नाहीत. फॉर प्रॉडक्ट इन्फ्रिंजमेंट कसं करायचं, व्हॅलिडेशन कसं करायचं. लुक ॲट what other countries do because it's public domain information and then apply it here. Justice Hari Singh said, I don't even need to do that. Why? Because the fact that the defendants, the 5 generic companies, are in fact manufacturing and selling the drug without a license, जोर का झटका धीरे से लगे, कुरकुरेच्या खाली बघतो पण FSS काय नंबर आहे का, without a license. So he said, I don't even need to go any step further. This is gross infringement by law. The generic companies pleaded as usual, in the interest of poor and in the interest of patient, in the interest of this and that, we pray to the court that this patent should be exempted. ऐकून घेतलं हरी सिंगनी आणि त्यांनी काय लिहिलं रुलिंग मध्ये. Having said that, the law sternly prohibits patent infringement and it may not be possible to argue that considerations of public interest should be allowed to justify infringing drugs to circulate in the market by law. Now this is a landmark decision where we have said, yes, it is infringing, get out of the market. So that is acknowledging IPR. This is what is happening in India. Now let's look at what is IPR and our career. Okay? So this is not something that India मध्ये नवीन आहे आम्हाला माहित नाही 95 पासून माहिती आहे, त्याच्या आधीच पासून माहिती आहे actually. Indian Patent Act was in existence since 1863. First Indian patent was granted to a British person who developed a machine for pankha, puli, replacing the servants who used to pull it. Varnaचा पंखा जो असतो तो. That was our first patent in 1863. 1947, India got independence. Indian Patent Act was formulated in 1970. India entered into WIPO 1995, which gives 10 years for that country, whoever enters into WIPO as a full member, they get 10 years to amend their laws. So we have supposedly amended it, on December 5th, 2005, and our finance minister said we are still trying. What is IPR and IPR? 2 सेकंदात तुम्हाला सांगतो. तुम्ही जेव्हा ग्रॅज्युएट होता बी फार्म, आर यू इंटेलिजंट और आर यू इंटेलेक्चुअल? ओ डिफरन्स आहे. फर्स्ट डिग्री जेव्हा तुम्हाला मिळते तेव्हा बेसिकली यू आर इंटेलिजंट बिकॉज यू हॅव अ लॉट ऑफ फॅक्ट्स अंडर युअर बेल्ट. न्यूटन्स फर्स्टला म्हणलं की तुम्ही धनाधन इक्वेशन लिहून देता, सॉल्युबिलिटी इक्वेशन, हो व्हॅन्स लाईक इक्वेशन धनाधन लिहिता. कधी अप्लाय करता का तुम्ही टुगेदर? So when you graduate, you are intelligent. When you get your degree, there is a convocation ceremony. टोप्या उडवायच्या आहेत. Convocation speaker is there. Convocation speakerला दम मारून सांगलेलं असतं 15 मिनिटापेक्षा जास्त बोलायचं नाही. 13.5 मिनिटं the speaker is glorifying you. It's good. You have completed all courses. You are now ready. You are going to enter the world. The world is waiting for you. आमचे कॉलर म्हणजे आमच्या डोक्यावरती जातात. शेवटच्या 40 सेकंदात the speaker says, but make no mistake, your learning starts now. 4 वर्ष काय केलं? 4 वर्ष you have amassed a lot of facts, but you have not applied them. So when you graduate, you are intelligent. M.Pharm ला project आला. So now what do you do? Project is not linear. Sustained release formulation बनवायचं आहे. Okay. मग मला बायोफार्मास्युटिक्स माहित असायला पाहिजे, फिजिकल फार्मसी माहित असायला पाहिजे, मॅन्युफॅक्चरिंग माहित असायला पाहिजे, फॉर्म्युलेशन डेव्हलपमेंट माहित असायला पाहिजे, अॅनालिटिकल माहित असायला पाहिजे. हे सगळे फॅक्ट्स मला इंडिपेंडेंटली मिळत होते. नाव आय एम गोइंग टू पुट देम टुगेदर टू मेक अ OD formulation from a TID. So you are applying the facts. When you apply the facts or apply your intelligence, you are automatically creating something. Application of intelligence is intellectual. When you apply something, you come up with a creation. And that application is because you know all these facts which are in your mind, you are putting them together and you are creating something. मग आपलं डेफिनेशन आता फिट होतं. IPR डेफिनेशन काय? क्रिएशन ऑफ द माइंड. कळलं आता. So that creation is IP. Patent नाही आणून द्यायला. Now that creation has to be checked out legally whether it is eligible for giving you the rights or that is patentability. And the law has 3 requirements in India for you to give you that or grant you that so-called patent. Not today. So I, P आणि R हा नुसतं डेफिनेशन आपण गोकलेलं आहे. क्रिएशन ऑफ द माइंड, क्रिएशन ऑफ द माइंड. कसलं क्रिएशन? नाव आय होप यू अंडरस्टँड. असा विचार करायचा की आता उन्हाळा आहे, उन्हाळ्यात आता वळवाचा पाऊस येतो, संध्याकाळी 6:30 वाजता थंड होतं. मग जरा ते युगुल मोटरबाईक वरती जातात. मागे मुलगी बसलेली असते, तिचा हेअर इज ऑल रोमॅन्टिकली. इथून म्हैसमाळला 30 किलोमीटर जायचंय, 15 किलोमीटर मोबाईल चालले बंद पडते. What happens? The girl stands on the side of the street, wondering आता हिच्याशी रिलेशन ठेवायची. What does the guy do? The guy is kicking the bike. चालूच होत नाही. कारण माहितीये, fuel tank बंद, that fuel goes to the tube and it goes to the carburetor, and when it gets to the carburetor it ignites. But the carburetor is blocked. किती तुम्ही किका मारा काही होत नाही. That is fact. That is intelligence. Sudden flash. Tilt करा, सरळ करा. Applied your mind. Now the fuel tank is the same, the tube is the same, the fuel also goes to the same, but because of the tilt, the carburetor edge is clean. So now it, new way of starting a stalled bike. First time ever. Creation of the mind. So now IP generated a new process by which a stalled bike can be ignited or started. Engine can be started. First time done ever. Invention. मिळालं. Second ह्याच्यामध्ये टेक्निकल ऍडव्हान्समेंट, which has an economic impact, which is not obvious to a person of skilled in the art. हे सगळं तुम्हाला आता French आहे, other than one person that I know of, who knows the law at least a little bit, okay, a lot. I don't want to say something on tape. So second requirement meet झाली. Industry is there for automobile. Application is there. So third requirement meet झाली. Oh, now you are eligible for that creation of the mind, which is now eligible to get a patent or the rights. Patent मिळालं, Indian patent मिळालं. That is IPR. Okay, as simple as that. वेगवेगळ्या पद्धतीचे IPRs आहेत. We also know that. Patent आहे, copyright आहे, trademark आहे, trade secret आहे, geographical indication आहे. Patent का बाबा एवढा लाल मध्ये एकदम बोल्ड अंडरलाईन? एक व्यक्ती ज्याला वाचायला येत नाही, कधी डझंट इवन नो द लँग्वेज, डझंट नो द स्क्रिप्ट, कम्प्लिटली इलिटरेट, हे पुढे ते ठेवलं तर विदाउट हेजिटेशन दॅट पर्सन सेज, हे तर कोक आहे, कारण हा ब्रँड आहे. ट्रेडमार्क. What is the value of trademark? 0. What is the recognition? Very high. Okay. Only copyrights and patents have value which you can get back. 11 पुस्तकं लिहिली मी. Oh, really? आणि अजून तुम्ही उभे आहात? Oh, आहे. बसून लिहिली ना, पुस्तकं बसून लिहिली. सॉरी बॅड जोक. पहिल्या वर्षी कॉपीराईटचं तुम्हाला रॉयल्टी मिळते 10 सायझेबल अमाऊंट. दुसऱ्या वर्षी कमी होत जाते. का? इन्फॉर्मेशन इज नाउ गेटिंग ओल्ड. नंतर आपणच प्रश्न विचारतो, your last reference in your master's thesis or PhD is 6 years old. त्याच्यामध्ये काय झालं? So your value goes down. Copyright other than media, that is different. It is only patents, particularly product patents, ची value वाढते. म्हणून आपण जेनेरिक घुसतो. Its value वाढते. If you look at those products that are being commercially successful, whichever you know, look at those in the last 5 years before their patent expired, their value has gone up almost 800 times. That's why patents मध्ये आपल्याला concentrate करतात. But the important part is now we know the sequence. You are intelligent, you apply your intelligence, you create, that is your IP, that creation, now you determine whether it is patentable. If it meets, you get a patent. If it is a product, then you get a product patent. M-Pharm वाले आपले तेच करत असतात. Silver-based nanoparticulate suspension patent product. Gold-based nanoparticulate suspension product. त्याची व्हॅल्यू आता करायची आपल्याला. So what do you do with it is preservation. First, getting a patent is prosecution. Second, what you do with it is preservation. आणि जेव्हा जेव्हा मुलगी ह्याच्या वयात येते तेव्हा सगळे अट्रॅक्ट होतात. So whenever the product becomes commercially more and more successful, your competition will get attracted. That is why we go into generics. जेनेरिक कंपनीज मध्ये तुम्ही जेव्हा व्हिजिटला जाता तेव्हा मॅनेजमेंटला विचारा, तुम्हाला हे असतो, अवसर असतो, हाऊ डू यू डिसाइड ऑन विच जेनेरिक टू मेक or produce. Top generic companies in India, they will not touch a reference product which is not making less than or which is making less than $800 million in US. They will not touch small products. So as your value goes up, that becomes more important for 2 or 3 reasons. Number one, you need to protect it because the competition will come in generics. Second is they can even challenge your patent. Na rahegi basri na bajega baja, patent is invalid करून टाकू. So protection पण पाहिजे. Third domain. बस 3च डोमेन आहे मेन. चौथं नॉट टुडे. या 3 डोमेन मध्ये सगळं आयपीआरचं सगळं जग आहे. आपण पहिल्यामध्येच अजून हातपाय मारतोय. तिघांमध्ये व्हेअर डू वी फिट इन? या तिन्ही डोमेन मध्ये इफ आवर पोझिशन इज सो क्रिटिकल अँड क्रुशियल, दॅट इज द फर्स्ट साइन देयर कुड बी अ करियर इन इट. And if this whole IPR business is going to be very critical for the development of country, तर 77 वर्ष तर आहेतच हो. So let's see that. That's how now you know all IPR, why we doing this. So domain of IPR तुम्हाला एक गोष्ट सांगतो. गोष्ट म्हणजे रियल स्टोरी. One student, pharmacy student from Pune completed his pharmacy degree, not from Pune College of Pharmacy. Okay, sorry. From wherever from India came to US, did his PhD. PhD करून आला परत. Foreign degree, मस्त जॉब मिळाला. 2 वर्षानंतर he got a courier from his professor. He opened the courier. There was a copy of a US patent. His PhD work was converted into a patent. Named inventor the student, co-inventor the guy, assigned to the university. Sorry. Prosecution. First domain. Party. Patent भी 20 years. लग्न पण झालं. अरे आय डिडंट नो दॅट लग्नासाठी पॅटर्न लागतं असतं. प्रमोशन पण मिळालं वगैरे. लाईफ वेंट बॅक टू नॉर्मल. अबाउट 24-25 months, 2 वर्षानंतर अजून एक कुरिअर आलं प्रोफेसर कडनं. He opened the courier. There was a small envelope. In that envelope there was a note. Congratulations, so and so. Enclosed is a check for your first 6 months royalty for the product, for your patented product, which is commercialized for $51,000 USD. So company bought the patent from the university because that was good for their portfolio. It was not for $10, $20, $1,000 or $100. Must be millions. Then they did whatever was required to get FDA approval. Once the FDA approval was there, then the prescriptions went out. Every prescription was paid for. 7% comes to the named inventor. 93% goes to the whoever owns that technology. आता कळलं आपण आपल्याला 4G साठी एवढे का पैसे भरतो आपण मंथली. कारण आपण लायसन्स घेतल्यावर त्यांच्याकडनं you have to pay for that license. That is commercialization. नंतर 5-6 वर्षापर्यंत he was getting almost 1.5 lakh USD sitting here. त्यानंतर एक कॉल आला. Lawyer called him and he said, no, sorry, professor called him and he said, you have to come to US to testify in court. You know, come over. 2 generic companies have filed a pair of 4 ANDA. And the company that bought your patent have sued them for infringement. Incidentally, one of the companies was Indian, that doesn't matter. So now you have to come and testify and show that, well, those two companies that have filed para 4 are infringing, and they will testify why they are not infringing. You are the person who developed this product, so you are the first fact witness. Generic developer is you guys. So whoever did that, they will have to come and testify why it is not infringing. That is the whole patent litigation. Litigation is a secondary matter. He came back, testify करून आला. एक वर्षानंतर त्याला लॉयरचा फोन आला. We are sending a subpoena, summons, non-bailable warrant. You will testify kara. Karan, the lawyer said, our client has sued you, named inventor, that company of course, you are the named inventor, for invalidating your patent. So now you have to come and prove that it is valid, and whoever has challenged has to come and prove it is invalid. That is protection, third domain. This is the big league game. If you want to play big, you have to know this. So where do we fit in? So this is the entire so-called domain of IPR. Prosecution, getting one, IPR or so-called patent. Second, what do you do with it? And to protect it. There is others which we are not going to talk about right now because incremental innovation vagare, it's a second level paije. So we'll just look at the first main three domains. So what is a patent vagare aata nahi bughu apan, that is we can talk about it later. But what is the role of scientist? We are all scientists, technical people. Okay. Who generates intellectual property? Lawyers? Nope. Patent agents? Nope. Patent examiners? Nope. Kod karta kaun IP? So at least it is very clear that IP starts with you. अजून लॉ आलेला नाहीये, लॉची स्टेज आलेली नाहीये. इफ यू डोंट क्रिएट IP, आमच्यासारख्यांच्या पोटावर पाय थोडे. So first, it is very clear that we generate IP. Scientists do not know law, lawyers don't know science, and IPR sits right in the middle. Scientists generate IP, lawyers ensure that whatever that they generate is patentable, and you get a patent granted or allowed. I cannot do without you, and you cannot do without me. But you can do only after I do something. That is the first part is IP. That is. Okay. So in prosecution, but आपण exactly करतो काय? So let's look at the first domain in prosecution. What exactly are we doing and where do we fit in? You now know at least that, okay, we are generating IP. So, if you look at the definition of a patent, the patent says it is an official document, which is a legal document, granting a right or privilege to the inventor, which is you, for a term of 20 years, the only right to make, use or sell exclusive his or her invention. So the inventor's work is the invention, and invention is what is being looked at whether it is patentable. So invention is a prerequisite to get a patent. One more time. Invention is the work done by the inventor, which is you. Checking out whether that invention is patentable is the law. It comes later. So for a patent, there is a prerequisite that there has to be an invention. So आपल्या सगळ्या मास्टर M.Pharm projects मध्ये in this context आहे का invention? If we understand that, because it is our work. It is not lawyers' work, we already said that. It is not patent agents' work, we already said that. It is not patent examiners' work, we already said that. So it is your work. So let's see, if we understand what is an invention, then that is the first step. तुमचंच काम आहे हो. So what is exactly an invention? What qualifies for an invention? What is a simple and straightforward understanding of what qualifies as an invention? हे जर आपल्याला कळलं तर देन पुढचं सगळं लाईनीत लागेल. फोटो घ्यायचा तर हा घ्या फोटो. दिस इज द क्रक्स ऑफ आय पॅटंट. We identify a project, or so-called we identify a problem and we solve it through research methodology or whatever you want to call. We identify that problem and we go through the research methodology, design space, then we do the experimentation, collect the results, analyze the results and come up with conclusions. And then in the conclusions we tell whether this is done the job. That is our project. स्टुडंटनी PhD केलं, तुम्ही M.Pharm केला किंवा PhD पण करू शकता, of course. Now what I'm going to say is, well, once you have completed this, let's say you have 25 conclusions in your thesis or whatever your work, research report. Now I'm going to ask you to do research. What are you searching for now? Now I'm going to ask you to go back into the library and check. Asparanta, whatever has been reported in the world, anything related to your project, no more work, number one. Anything related to your project, that's it. So let's say you come up with 75 pieces of work that is reported till today. Today is the date of filing. Actually it is 1 year from now, but एवढा detail मध्ये आता जायला नको आपल्याला. So June 9 तारीख 2026 ला तुम्ही केला हा सर्च आणि आयडेंटिफाय केले की 75 pieces of prior art आहेत आजपर्यंत रिपोर्ट केलेला आहे. Because it is till today, everything is in the past, so it is known as prior. Anything that you are generating is known as art. म्हणून त्याला prior art म्हणतात. असं काही फॅन्सी नाही त्यात काय prior art म्हणजे कधी वेगळं आहे. इंडियामध्ये त्याला इन्फॉर्मेशन डिस्क्लोज म्हणतात till today. Now we have to analyze that. त्याला ते अनालिसिस केलं की त्याला स्टेटमेंट येते. हे अनालिसिस काय केलं त्याला म्हणतात इन्फॉर्मेशन डिस्क्लोजर स्टेटमेंट. 75 pieces of prior art and 25 pieces, 25 conclusions. ह्याचं आता आपण analyze करू quickly. काय analyze करायचं? So that is, and then we come up with a statement. Oh, are you okay? So if it is US or other country, it is known as prior art. Do the same thing, exactly the same. But now it is called as you have to give an analysis of that. So it is prior art search analysis. And you're going to do a statement, some same thing as IDS, information disclosure statement. So let's see what do we do. Take the first conclusion. Okay, I can explain. First conclusion घ्यायचा 25 मधला आणि 75 pieces of prior art मध्ये जायचं. Individually. त्यात बघायचं आहे का नाही, नो अनालिसिस, डोकं लावायचं नाही. असू शकतो, असू शकेल, नो. इज or is not. Law is only yes or no. I am married or not married. I am not almost married. Yes or no. So पहिलं कन्क्लुजन बघायचं 75 मध्ये आहे, बाजूला ठेवा. सेकंड करायचं, बाजूला ठेवा आहे. तिसरं आहे बाजूला ठेवा. चौथं, अरे नाहीये, उजव्या बाजूला ठेवा. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th असं करत जायचं. And then let's say 5 of the 25 conclusions are not in 75 pieces of prior art, जे तुम्ही बाजूला उजव्या बाजूला ठेवलेले. Take those 5, make one sentence. That is your invention. Patent मिळालं नाही अजून. That is your invention. I have met the first requirement of a patent. त्या 5 conclusions in single sentence ला आपण फॅन्सीली म्हणतो those are the elements of that invention. आपल्याला वाटतं कुठे वर्ड मोजेसने सांगितलं बाबा. Elements. These are nothing but those conclusions that are not reported in prior art. That's it. Now you have a single sentence which have 5 conclusions not in prior art. Now it becomes eligible for checking whether it is patentable or not. Now the law comes in. If it meets those legal requirements, then you get the 20-year exclusivity for that. ह्याच्यात मी काहीही हे करून सांगितलेलं नाहीये. It is as simple as that. But it is presented to the entire country as complicated and complicated. You can engage individuals who will do this work for you, but then you have to pay. Today, individuals do that for you. Minimum 60,000 rupees. Oh, if you go to a patent law firm or IP law firm, you have to pay 1.2 to 1.5 lakhs. That's all, they'll do it for you. ये तुम्ही करू शकता. Anyway, so that's how you get an invention. Now I want to check whether it meets the legal requirements. Who is going to tell whether it meets the legal requirements? One is the lawyer part. Does the lawyer know your technology? No. Lawyers are not technologists. But they need that technical information which will prove or disprove whether it meets the legal requirement. Which they know the legal requirement, you know the technical requirement to meet that. Okay? So what are the requirements in India? 3 requirements we said. Well, is that single sentence novel? That is known as invention legal requirement in India. Second is there an inventive step? No what is the no inventive step anymore. So it is law. But technically you have to support it, prove it. And third, is that an industry there? And is it application hai ka? If it meets these 3 requirements, then you get an Indian patent. All of this is to be explained, and the only individual who can do that is you. Without you, this will not be possible. All the individuals, the lawyers, and who you engage are, in my view, in my view, they are glorified postmen. Glorified postman. Agent, patent agent. Anyway, so this entire first domain rests on your shoulder without you. Wow, this is the first one. Patent घेण्यापासून तुमचे पहिलेच you are the most important person. Okay? World requirement 7 आहेत +2. त्याच्यातले फक्त 2 आपल्याकडे आहेत of the 7. World requirements are that single sentence or the claim should be novel, should be innovative, should not be inherent, should not be obvious, should not be anticipated, should be enabled, and should not be indefinite. Secondary consideration 4 आहेत. आणि every invention, that single sentence has to have a limit and scope. Who proves that? Again, you, if you want to go outside India. Again, you are the one to prove that. It's all technical. Limit is you should know where you start your invention or where it ends. इंडियामध्ये फक्त 2 रिक्वायरमेंट आहेत, 3 पैकी 2 इकडे, देन इंडस्ट्रियल ऍप्लिकेशन आहे. बाकीच्या ठिकाणी वर्ल्डमध्ये इट इज युटिलिटी और युजफुलनेस. So one thing is very clear, that first domain is all you. So translating research into invention, articulating it, who can identify IP and translate research into a claim and get IPR on it is you. All right. 33% आपलं राज्य आहे. Without you it cannot happen. Let's go to the second step. चला patent मिळालं. What do you do with it? आज ही परिस्थिती आहे. पॅटर्न ले लो, पैसा बनाओ, पॅटर्न मिळवा, पैसे बनवा, पैसे बनवा, पैसे बनवा. कसे बनवायचे? आय डोंट नो. हाऊ विल यू प्रोटेक्ट युअर IP इंटरेस्ट? आय डोंट नो. कोण करणार ते बघू आपण. ते आता दॅट हॅज बीन मॉडिफाईड टू पॅटंट अँड प्रॉस्पर. पहिलं प्रॉस्पेरिटी तर कळायला पाहिजे. आता कळली आपल्याला प्रॉस्पेरिटी काय आहे आणि पॅटर्न वरती कशी निर्भरित आहे ते पण कळलं आपल्याला. So now let's see in this second domain, taking an invention to market and to commerce. मध्ये चक्कर काय आहे आणि त्यात आपली पोझिशन काय आहे. तुम्ही जनरेट केला IP, इन्व्हेन्शन मिळालं, पॅटर्न मिळालं, फर्स्ट डोमेन कंप्लीट. नाव आय वॉन्ट टू टेक इट टू द मार्केट. तुम्ही 1000 टॅबलेटची बॅच बनवली, which met the requirement for patenting. You got a patent on a batch size of 1000 tablets. कमर्शियलाइज करण्यासाठी मला पहिलं ते FDA अप्रुव्हल पाहिजे, दॅट इज मार्केट ऑथरायझेशन. त्याच्यासाठी मला 3 बॅचेस ऑफ 1 लाख टॅबलेट्स बनवायचे आहेत. अंडर GMP करायचं, स्टेबिलिटी पाहिजे 2 वर्षाची, क्लिनिकल ट्रायल वगैरे वगैरे वगैरे, सगळं टेक्निकल आहे. बट मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टंट इज या 3 बॅचेसचं एव्हरी सिंगल टॅबलेट शुड मीट दॅट सिंगल सेंटेन्स रिक्वायरमेंट जे तुम्हाला पॅटर्न मिळालेलं आहे. Then only your product which FDA has approved or will approve will be covered by your patent. That is all scaling up. कोण करतं? आम्हीच करतो. का? कारण आम्हाला लॅब टू प्रोडक्शन, सिरियल डायल्युशन वगैरे आम्हाला सगळं टेक्निकल माहिती आहे. लॉयरला माहित नाही, एजंटला माहित नाही. 3 वर्ष लागतात मिनिमम to get it FDA cleared. Investment of 100 to 150 crores. एवढे पैसे. मग आपण शार्क टँक कडे जातो. शार्क टँक कडे सांगतो की बा आमच्याकडे इन्व्हेन्शन हे ते सांगून, हो रिअली? पहिला प्रश्न काय असतो? प्रोटेक्टेड आहे, पॅटंट फाईल केलंय, मग आमच्याकडे आम्ही बोलू तुमच्याशी. बोलतच नाही, कारण एक्सक्लुझिव्ह राईट पाहिजे. IPR protection. Number 2, most important is हे जे सगळं ऍक्टिव्हिटी आहे टू गेट क्लिअर थ्रू FDA, फार्मा प्रोडक्ट, बाकी सगळ्यांचं सगळं सेम कॉन्सेप्ट इज रिक्वायरमेंट इज द सेम. ओनली यू कॅन डू इट बिकॉज इज ऑल टेक्निकल. सिरियल डायल्युशन करा, हे करा, ते करा, क्लिनिकल ट्रायल्स करा, स्टेबिलिटी करा, सगळं टेक्निकल आहे. And also ensure that it is within the so-called limit and scope of the single sentence जो तुमचा claim आहे. That's all technical. FDA approval मिळालं, आता मार्केटमध्ये जाऊन मग तुम्ही जेव्हा विकायला लागता तेव्हा तुम्हाला पैसे येतात, रिटर्न ऑन इन्व्हेस्टमेंट. आम्ही बसलो औरंगाबादमध्ये, आमचे पेशंट आहेत आसाममध्ये, कसे जाणार? बायसिकलवर जाणार. So now you have to get this campaign of publicity, ये करा, ते करा, leaflets करा, medical representative करा. That all material you generate is copyrightable. एवढं लॉन्ड्री पडलेली आहे, कशी करायची, मग डोक्यात विचार येतो, इमेज येतं, एक छोटी मुलगी व्हाईट स्कर्ट मध्ये आहे, ती नाचते. वॉशिंग पावडर निर्मा, वॉशिंग पावडर निर्मा, दॅट इज प्रोटेक्टेड, कॉपीराइट. सो दॅट इज एंटायर IPR. अगेन तुमच्या डोक्यातून जे काही विचार येतात, which has value, which is you can generate returns on that. So this entire business of going from invention to market to commerce is all technical. Again, it is only you. So second domain is also yours. Without you we cannot move forward. अरे वाह, 66.7% आपण आपल्याशिवाय IPR पुढे जाऊच शकत. So this is what we call the process of research to invention, invention to market, market ला क्वेश्चन आपण विचारतो की is it covered by the claim, the process of taking it to the market आपण त्याला sexily tech transfer. काय काम करता तुम्ही? मी TT करतो, खेळत नाही, TT करतो. Tech transfer, that's what we do. It's all technical. So who can best do the job for taking invention to market and to commerce? Again, it is you. All right, not bad. Protecting the rights. Commercial केलं, पैसे बनवायला लागले, आता मग कोणते चॅलेंज करणार invalidity साठी. So you have to protect it. Or generics will come into picture. So you have to stop them. So you have to sue them for copying or infringement. जे आपण जातो US मध्ये, स्पेन मध्ये, कॅनडा मध्ये, जिथे जिथे आपण जेनेरिक जिथे फाईल करतो तिथे आपल्याला सू करतात, and then we have to fight it out. The lawyers will not fight it out. You have to prove the technical rationale why it is or it is not infringing, or it is or it is not valid product covered by the patent. Lawyers will only plead your case. So who can do this job? Let's see what are the protections that we need. In a broad spectrum, validation of or validity or invalidity of your patent itself, if it is challenged. And stopping the competition when you want to prove infringement so that your product is protected, and the so-called infringer or the generic will prove that we are not infringing. Prove कौन करणार हो? Again, it is technical. 100 cases मध्ये almost 85 cases ला I have been 85 yeah 70% of the cases are where I have represented for either infringement or non-infringement. 15 to 20 cases where I have represented for invalidation of a patent. I have invalidated 4 US patents. So who is going to do this job? Again, your testimony, the judge is going to rely on, not the lawyers. The lawyer will present it, it meets the requirement for whatever is to be proven for validity and or invalidity, infringement or non-infringement. कसे करायचे ते आमचे courses आहेत, but that is all you. Without you cannot do it. What is validity? Fine, we don't need to. Who can prove it or not is again you. Infringement. What is infringement? Disobeying the law. How will you prove it? That my product or generic product is infringing the inventor's product? Again technical. How many types of infringements are there? 4 आहेत. Actually 8 आहेत. So who is going to prove it? Again it's you, because it is all technical. एक प्रश्न विचारतो. I'll easily show you how it is technical. तुमच्या त्या सिंगल सेंटेन्समध्ये जे 5 एलिमेंट्स होते, जे 5 कन्क्लुजन्स होते, त्याच्यामध्ये एक कन्क्लुजन होतं की 5 to 10% ऑफ मॅग्नेशियम स्टीरेट इज दॅट एलिमेंट नंबर सी. जेनेरिक कंपनीने आली आणि त्यांनी जेनेरिक कंपनीने ते प्रॉडक्ट तुमचं कॉपी केलं अँड दे यूज 4.8%. तुमच्या क्लेम मध्ये 5 ते 10% आहे, त्यांनी 4.8% यूज केलं. हाऊ विल यू प्रूव्ह इट इज इन्फ्रिंजिंग? हाऊ विल यू प्रूव्ह द जेनेरिक कंपनी तुम्ही आहात, हाऊ विल यू प्रूव्ह 4.8 इज नॉट इन्फ्रिंजिंग 5 to 10? टेक्निकल आहे हो. दोन्हीकडनं प्रूव्ह करू शकतो. What is your error? Now I am the generic. No, sorry, I am the patent holder. What is the error in your technical scientific experimentation? Sources of error are 3. मी नाही, तुमचीच पुस्तकं सांगतात एव्हिडन्स. Number 1, human error. Number 2, equipment error. Number 3, analytical error. All these 3 are mutually exclusive, independent आहे. त्याच्यामुळे again the literature says mutually exclusive errors are additive. So and how much is allowed? 5% is allowed for any source of error. So 3 sources of error, 5 plus 5 plus 5 is equal to 15% error is permitted. Technically correct. 5% to 10% है, 5% जे 15% पकड़ा, ये 4.8 आत आहे का नहीं? Now you know. So I say, 4.8 is within the technical limits. Judge is like, yeah, scientific error. You guys are the scientists who know what they are. Evidence है. So the judge says, possibly. जेनेरिक वाले काय म्हणणार? आम्हाला माहिती आहे हो 15% एरर अलाउड होते कारण बिकॉज ऑफ दिस एव्हिडन्सेस. पण या पॅटर्न मध्ये तुम्ही 5 ते 10 लिहिलेलं आहे, 4.8 नाही लिहिलेलं आहे. 4.8 is not 5. Technically it might be the same, but legally it is not. 1 and 1 is equal to how much? 2. No, I can prove 1 and 1 is 1. Are you really? 1 rupee note plus 1 rupee note is equal to 1 2 rupee note. So 1 and 1 is 1. Value विचारली नाही मी. Legally correct, technically wrong. Anyone's birthday is on 29th February. आम्ही फक्त 15, 16, 17 मध्ये कुठेतरी आहोत. Legally correct, technically wrong. So who is proving this? You. So the whole business of the third domain is also who can demonstrate by clear, convincing and compelling evidence. Compelling evidence की infringing आहे या नाही, valid आहे का नाही. Again it is used. So third domain is also yours. चला आता बघू, तिन्ही आहे त्याच्यामध्ये we cannot do without you. 14 फेब्रुवारी काय हो? सडनली तुम्ही कुठे गेला 14 फेब्रुवारीला? आपण इन्व्हेन्शन प्रूव्ह करायला आपण वी वेंट इन टू द रोमॅन्टिक वे ऑफ वळवाचा पाऊस तसं. 14 February is Valentine's Day, I guess. What does a boy say to the girl? It starts with you and ends with you. So you should feel real proud of yourself. IPR चा ढिंडोरा पेटलेला आहे. We cannot do anything without you. So this is something where an earning can happen, a career can take place. I continue to deal with more than 50, 60 law firms in the world, so-called subject matter experts. IP lawyers, what is their first degree? Is technical degree. Second is IP. You already have the first technical degree. They are MDs, MBBS, microbiologists, pharmacists, PharmDs, biotechnologists. First degree is technical. On that, they have built up IPR law. What is the earning capacity? We'll come to that in a minute. Upon break, I will finish it. So as a career, so I have shown to you why IPR is important for India. I have shown to you the status of IPR in the country. I have shown to you what is the meaning of IPR. I have shown you the domain of IPR, and in every single domain I have proven to you that you are very critical. Okay. So now let's see, as a IP as a career. Remember I said the 5 questions you should ask is: number 1, qualified and competitive. Technical degree with this added IPR training is what the current requirement or actually is the practice that we have seen worldwide. It is a respectful career. Opportunities. Now let's talk about opportunities, growth, development, and income, and finally sustenance. Growth and development, opportunities, which will be combined with growth also with time. How much do individuals like me charge for just giving you an opinion? Giving you an opinion about whether there is invention in your project. Just giving you an opinion. $500 to $750 per hour. How much individuals like us, these are all opportunities, charge for giving you an opinion or a strategy for protection and or use of your IPR and valuation? $750 to $1,000 per hour. How much individuals like us charge for just actually doing the expert work and giving an expert testimony as to why it is infringing or not, valid or not? $900 to $1,200 per hour. How much do individuals like us charge for just appearance in court? I sit there, I don't speak a single word. When the case is being tried, the lawyer says, "Judge, if you want more details, we have the expert sitting right here. I have not said a word." Appearance in court. $1,000 to $1,500 per hour, plus expenses, of course. USD, of course, INR में. Just to be clear. That is the opportunity. Who has an individual who has a technical degree with IPR training or competency, qualifications and competitiveness. You already have the first part. You are in the area for pharma, which is a lot of IPR is being generated and we are being sued, and we can do that later on too. I personally feel that in next 10 to 15 years, India will become the center for bloodbath for IPR. जसे आता US मध्ये चाललंय किंवा Western Europe मध्ये चाललंय. And at that time, you should be ready. You already know what the charges are from your patent agents or so-called patent advisors or IP advisors who may not even be lawyers, or IP lawyers is secondary. 60,000 rupees they charge just for evaluating. So the opportunity is there. It is going to continue. Is there a growth? Of course. 1999, my first case, I was charging only $250 an hour. Now it is at least $800 to $1,000 an hour. So it is there, folks, it is there. Indian pharmacists have worked in Indian pharma in IP department, then they have come out and they have started their boutique IP law firms, and they are fairly successful. Just giving opinions for our filing and our IPR. Patent agents are now mushrooming in India because they are seeing the opportunity and they are grabbing it. Their first degree is technical. A patent examiner requirement is you have to have technical degree and Indian patent exam. You already have first one. What you need is this extra one. You don't need to be lawyers. You need the training in IPR. So opportunity is there, growth is there. With time, your so-called value increases, so your pricing is going to change. In addition to that, more complicated the case, more the rates. So growth is there, so you develop, it is a respectable profession, opportunity is there, qualifications you have already met, now you have to become competitive, income is there. Now the question is it sustainable? I can foresee at least next 100 years there is no death for IPR. Long you live, I hope you live long than 100 years. So this is something that you need to consider. Okay? So last 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes on. Now given this picture, today India is yet to recognize the full potential of IPR. Okay? In all its three dimensions, which are the domains. You have proven that you are very critical in all these three domains. So now, what is India doing about it? Very limited, or almost nothing. So we were the first ones to identify that, well, This is something which is not only essential, not only for the country, but also for our professionals. Number two, IP is IP. It doesn't matter whether it is from pharma, whether it is from fashion design, agricultural sciences, from microbiology, from technology, biotech. IP is the same IP. So when you go from B Pharm to M Pharm to PhD to postdoctorate to whatever, you are becoming specialist, super specialist. With this, you will become generalist. So you can give opinions to any other technology. I am not in wind energy, but I am being solicited for or asked to give opinions on that for IPR. So let's see now what, because there is a need for the country, this is a good opportunity for you, and I've physically firsthand seen how we struggle when we come to US or anywhere else to testify. Because now you are sued for infringement, so you have to follow IPR, their laws, and you are the first ones to get deposed or give a testimony in court. At that time, that 4.8 and 5 becomes very fuzzy for us because our mind is technical, we speak technical, the question is asked which is legal. The only way you can differentiate that is with this training. You can train your individuals or clients, of course, for a price. Okay, so I realized that, and then in 2016, we set up this center. In 2016, Sanjay Toshnewal was one of our speakers for the first conference. That's where our journey started. Okay? It is not because I think sitting outside India, okay, India needs this. We had a brainstorming session where CEOs and R&D, so-called directors of big companies, came to Goa on my request from pharma and other companies also, where I gave a presentation that, well, I think this is needed for the country, and for whatever reason I gave them all these reasons. And then I to ask them whether it is needed because you are the ground reality. They said this is the first thing you should get in India. Parikkar was the chief minister. When we went there, he said, in 10 minutes, whatever you want, I will give it to you, because he had faced difficulties in getting technology for advanced weapons in India. So that was the purpose, and that was the reason why we came up with this. We set it up in 2016. In 2025, we got our trademark. It is the first of its kind in the world. First of its kind. More important for me is India giving back, and whatever my personal principles or our mission is right there. It says enhancing IP awareness nationally, one institution at a time. Since 2016, we are doing that with this mission. We are also registered under the Societies Act. This is our trademark that we got. This is our website, which we put together and launched in 2023. It is very active. You can take a look at the website and see what we are doing, and it is current and up to date. Our vision, mission statement to sabhi ka hota hai. What is our objective? And that's what I am here for. It's part of that. Number one is academic advancement programs through PAPs, professional advancement programs, such as what we did for FDP, faculty development, professional advancement programs as well for students, and so on and so forth. Why? Grassroots is where IP is generated, and that's where you come into picture. If you have this information, that will get your minds going when you will do your projects. 5 years, 10 years down the road, you will realize, well, see, this is where it helped. If this goes nationwide, then maybe 10, 15 years, India will realize, well, see, this is how it should go. Because you will be the ones who will contribute to that. Okay? So we have programs, we'll come to that in a minute. We have continuous update and upgradation of knowledge base in IP matters. This is where it will be very useful for you. Every year we have an international conference on IPR since 2016, where world experts, they come at their cost and give presentations on whatever the theme is as to what is the status of IPR in that theme. Fine, they know me and then whatever reason, but still we don't pay anything because this is a non-profit, personally funded center. We have not taken a single rupee from the country. Not one. Okay, all right. Second part of this conference is, it is the first platform in India for IP, where your research projects can be presented as a research showcase presentation and then get it assessed for IP potential one-on-one discussion with the IP experts. And then we have built in a competition there where we give rewards or so-called awards to top 5 of those which have high IP potential. We have 15 disciplines that have come in, right from IT to nuclear medicine to agricultural sciences, fashion design, pharma to hai, medical devices. They come and present. Students, you guys, your research work. So this is an outlet for your research work to be presented. Get it assessed. You meet your requirement for graduation, for attending an international conference. These, you help serve our purpose. You will get first one-on-one interaction with the IP experts, and then we provide IP services. We have developed a postgraduate advanced program in IPR certification program, where we have a series of 6 courses, starting from basics to taking in creative drafting a claim, taking invention to market, role of IPR, global techno-legal considerations, protection of IPR, and then going into the future, strategies for IPR, AI, all that stuff. This is all IP oriented. Whoever completes these 6 programs, they will get this certification, which is the first of its kind in the country. And here we go beyond Indian patenting. So you automatically get information of the entire world, and your so-called this second part about qualifications and competitiveness becomes very strong. In addition to that, on public demand, we have come up with, not public demand, from educational institutions demand. They said, well, can you give us a program which is a value-added course? This is the terminology that I learned from you folks. We have in US is a elective course. So this is a 1-week program which covers all the domains, so you get an idea what it is. If you get interested, then you can pursue. If not, then you can still get 3 credits towards your graduation, or that certification, which is very valuable to differentiate yourself from your competition, which is sitting next to you today, your BFF. Okay. So these programs are getting very attractive. Every alternate month we come here and we come to you. You don't have to come to the center because it has to be service. It is service oriented. There is no charge for anything, no speaker's fee, no speaker travel expense, nothing. Local hospitality is requested but not mandatory. Because some universities in rural areas, they cannot afford it. We understand that. But my problem is when I land at an airport, I don't know where to go. So somebody has to take me there. So we request for that. All right. In 2021, right after COVID, we launched a campaign, dedicated campaign to enhance IP awareness across the country, across the state boundaries in the entire country. This is one part of it, campaign presentation, where the objective is to induce spirit of inquiry in translating theoretical science into innovative products. Nice statement. So let's see what we have done so far. We have covered 23 states, 1 union territory, right from Kargil to Trivandrum, from Gujarat to Assam. We have to cover 4 more states and we'll cover the entire country. We have visited more than 100 institutions. We have given more than 350 presentations. Our stakeholders have now increased to 70,000 plus. Since 2023, late 2023, when we launched our website, this has crossed 1.8 million visitors. Important is at no cost to the institution, because it is needed for the country. I seriously believe that. I'm not saying, oh, I'm great or anything like that. But this is needed for the country. So that is the mission. Okay. All right. We have so many campaign presentations, so on and so forth. Courses are there now. Course 4 and 5 have opened up. So these numbers have to be updated. But with time, so far we have got more than 30 or 40 international speakers physically who have come. We are not online. Online shift one time when we had our COVID year, we still had our international conference, and that was online. But the offline. Now look at this. Eminent personalities who have participated or who have become part of these presentations, or so-called conferences. Governor of Goa, Chief Minister of Goa, then Director of Technical Education, Education Secretary India, Vice Chancellor, Drug Controllers, IAS, CEOs, MDs, R&D leaders, IP heads. So now the recognition is coming in that movement has to, I always feel it has to be more, or it has to be faster. So we are trying. 500 plus research showcase presentations so far. So this is your opportunity. You will receive your administration principal and a few individuals will receive the second announcement of our 11th annual conference, international conference, which is scheduled for November 19 and November 20. November is very good in Goa. That is fringe benefit. Now the governor's office has become involved since last 2 years. They have now kind of said that, well, please have this conference in Raj Bhavan. That is, nobody gives that easily. Raj Bhavan, now we are. And then it was so generous of the governor, he said, well, it will always be free for you. Otherwise, we used to pay a lot for this audio visuals and all these things. So now he said, well, no, this is needed for the country. We know what you are doing. It is useful. So, there is a recognition, contribution is being realized. But for me, it is more important. The other side is, yes, it has to start with where IP is generated. Usme ye information चाहिए. Every year we have something new, so I'm not going to go through that list because what we need is basically your support. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. Okay? So please take the seat if you have a seat. Any questions?
Uh, Thank you very much, sir. So it was really a fruitful and wonderful session. I would like to appeal the audience if anybody is having any question, they can ask. Kindly circulate the mic. Yes, if you have any question, you can ask. Because there was very one important sentence was there. It starts with you and it ends with you. So you is very important.
Correct, absolutely. आपके फ्यूचर का सवाल है जी. Honestly, this is what it is. You hear people talk about it. You have heard now me talk about it. Who is actually doing the work? Commercialization may have attended many webinars on commercialization. What you always see is somebody says, "Oh, this is the product that is patented, and this is the commercial." ये बीच का रास्ता कोई नहीं बोलता है. How do you protect your IPR? That is critical. जो हम बोलते हैं. प्रोटेक्शन की बात इंडिया में चलती नहीं है क्योंकि अभी पॉलिसीज नहीं इंडिया में, पर हम वी गेट सूड आउटसाइड. क्या करें? या
At Goa Center,
Kindly circulate the mic, please.
at the Goa Center, are we considering only Indian patent law awareness or global patent?
ग्लोबल.
Global. So we are supporting for the global patent.
For the understanding, for the whoever wants the training in that. Second is we help those who want to go outside by connecting them with the law firms who are more not only economical, number one, but also who are concentrating on prosecution. So that, because that is our first interest. Litigation का बाद में देखा जाएगा. I am very inexpensive. So that part we do. I know of boutique law firms who have various plans which can help us. And then what are their requirements in order to ensure that, well, they will need to do very little work because that is hourly rate. Okay, so that's why they say, well, give us this much, so much advanced stage so that we don't have to do a lot of work, number one. Not because we want it to be lazy, but unnecessarily why do you have to pay for that when you can do it and give it to us, number one. Two of the boutique law firms have already come out and told me that, well, Umesh, we have a plan for flat rate. So we will file it for you. We'll go all through the prosecution, including responding to office actions until it is granted flat rate. So that we can also do. So that service we have also provided. Sure.
You have already started providing services.
Yeah.
And this also include improvement analysis report, value-added reports.
Yeah.
Or
Yes, absolutely right. वो तो अपना bread butter है जी. Well, I don't charge for Indian clients particularly because whatever reason, my personal reasons, but Moreji knows tonight I have 1 hour phone call for her. We are invalidating, or at least we are challenging the patent. So let's see, उसको expert report लिखना है.
Any more questions from anybody?
Yeah. Nice.
Kindly circulate the mic, please.
Sir, my question is that if there are the patent agents or there are the experts
Mhm.
those who are helping to find the patent, right?
Mhm.
It's like that there are any the agencies or organizations that can help for commercialization of the patent. If anybody is having already patent or the patent is there and want to commercialize anything, so is there any kind of help like that from the organization in India to make the approach faster for commercialization?
Very good question on two counts. Number one is it gives me a chance to explain where we can help. And number two is that will clear the understanding of what is essential. Because of the commercialization, the first thing that comes to our mind is just patent है, it is going to make billions. पर उसमें जो दो steps है, one is first to the market. To market authorization पहिले essential है, and that is the government approval. त्याच्यामध्ये you don't get any money back. You only start to get money after it is the end user starts to use it. That's who will pay for that. Okay. So पहिला जो स्टेप आहे मार्केटिंगचा त्याच्यासाठी if you can do it on your own, then that is one aspect. But that significant part is individualized per product, per technology. Second part is after you get market authorization, then there are agencies who can do the commercialization part, which are the entrepreneurs. That part is different. आपल्याला फक्त ते असं वाटतं की एव्हरीथिंग somebody will do and will pay the fees. हे दोन parts मध्ये. The second part is there are if you're in pharma, then there are agents for therapeutic classes, classification, specialized devices, classification, सगळं आहे ते. But getting that market authorization is product specific. Specialty, there is no agency. So that part we can tell you which contract labs can help you do that. We can also tell you how you can protect your IP interest there, how to make an R&D agreement in which you have to ensure your IP interest. Then commercial agreement, we can help you there. But there is no agency which will say, oh, pharma म्हणलं की आमच्याकडे या, असं नाहीये. पण तेच FDA approved आहे, then there are agencies. They just पण product आहे आता. So they will ask you for your capacity and this capability for batch size, and they will tell you how much is the market. And then because they have access to that, and they are specializing in those therapeutic classes, end user. So that are the, but the middle part that is very specific to the project. So त्याच्यासाठी we can help you identify where to go and what kind of requirements you should ensure when you go to someone who will do that part for you. That we have. I help you.
Any more questions from the audience?
Yeah. One more.
Good afternoon, sir. Myself, Arya Ambedkar, and I would really like to know that from the center, what specific programs or courses would you recommend for undergraduate students so that people, learn more about this?
Great. Two-part response to that. One is there are 3 universities in India who have integrated our 5-day program, which basically integrated into their curriculum, which basically means that whoever takes this course, these 3 credits will be towards their graduation. Okay. So that will be one option which is very important or which matches. Second is the senior and sophomore and senior year, which is basically the last 2 years of whichever professional program. They are the right candidates for that because they need to have elective courses or VACs, value added course. If you know the university or then ensure we can make an MOU with them and have that as a program, and then it will be open to the entire university. So that way then those undergraduates can check it out. Nothing lost because Number one, the fees is almost nothing. Number two, fees apart. Number two is the creditors that you will get will not go as like, okay, as a waste if you don't get interest. It will still be counted towards your graduation. So it is win-win situation. So those are, I mean, that really works. So that is something that you can think about. Yes.
Any more questions? Okay, yesterday's sir has rightly mentioned that intellects are identified from the asking the questions. So if there are more questions, we will be very happy.
Okay, now go ahead. Sorry.
So we will move towards the conclusion now. It is very difficult to summarize and conclude the session because every point was very important. Sir divided his presentation into the 3 points. First was why IPR is required in India, and he had rightly mentioned what is the role of IPR in the developing country, how IPR can be the career. There are multiple career opportunities. He have mentioned his own experiences, how much he charged for the consultation also. So it could be a good career for the budding professionals. Then the center of excellence in the IPR. This is a very innovative and novel concept that all of we know. It is a very innovative concept because there is no center of excellence for IPR. We know the patent agents, we know the glorified postmans, but we don't know the center of excellence in the IPR. That word excellence is very important. Then the most important point that he highlighted is the prosperity which is sustainable. The sustainable prosperity is very important for the developing nation. The IP start with the researcher and not with the lawyer. So that is also a very important point that all of we should understand and we should move forward accordingly. And the last important statement, I will once again repeat it. It starts with you and ends with you. So it is the time to start with us. So all of we should start from us. So this is the conclusion of today's session. I would like to thank Sir again because the session was enlightening, enriching, and brainstorming. Thank you very much. Now I will request Rashmi Chaudhary Madam to continue with the further proceedings.
Thank you so much, sir. First of all, I humbly request you to please kindly occupy your seat on the dais, sir. On the behalf of entire organizing committee and all the participants, I extend our deepest and most sincere gratitude to Professor Umesh Banakar sir for sharing his invaluable expertise on dissolution testing and intellectual property rights in pharmaceutical sciences. His wealth of knowledge, insight, and engaging presentation style have left us a lasting impressions on all of us. We truly reach her for his wisdom shared with us. Thank you so much, sir, for your generous contribution to this conference. And the excellent sessions and your insights are highly informative and engaging for these 2 days. It was a valuable learning experience for all of us, surely. It is said that a great teacher don't just impart the information, they inspire the transformation. Professor Umesh Banakar has truly been a beacon of knowledge, not just today, but throughout this 2 day conference. His expertise, his passion, and his generosity in sharing his wisdom have made this conference a truly international in character. It is now our honor and privilege to present the appreciation certificate and memento to our distinguished speaker of the session, Dr. Umesh Banakar sir. I request Dr. V.K. Maurya sir and Dr. Sanjay Toshniwal sir to please kindly felicitate our eminent speaker with a memento and certificate of appreciation as a token of respect and gratitude. Please join me in expressing a heartfelt gratitude with thunderous applause.
because it was for you, it starts from you, it is for you, and you is there. Yes, Bankarji's game itself. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for your gracious presence. We now arrive at one of the most eagerly anticipated segment of this conference, the poster presentation session. The theme for the today's poster presentation is Recent Trends in Drug Discovery and Development. The poster presentation represents original research studies carried out by our talented participants, PharmD final year students, MPharm students, PhD researchers, and academicians. This is a platform that celebrates scientific curiosity, rigorous research, and the spirit of innovation. To assess and encourage these budding researchers, we are privileged to have with us two highly accomplished academicians and researchers as our evaluators. Our first evaluator, Dr. Rajesh Naule sir, Associate Professor, Government College of Pharmacy, with over 3 decades of experience in teaching, researchers, and academic administration. Dr. Naule has guided numerous postgraduate, PharmD, PhD scholars and has contributed extensively to pharmaceutical education and research. Welcome, sir, to our institute. Our second evaluator is Dr. Sachin Bhusari, Assistant Professor and Head Center of DMPK Studies, UDCT, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Marathwada University, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar, a distinguished researcher, gold medalist, and recipient of several prestigious research grants. Dr. Bhusari has made a significant contribution in the field of preclinical drug development, pharmacokinetics, and bioanalytical sciences. Their expertise, scholarly insights, and vast experience will undoubtedly inspire and guide our participants for this competition. But before the poster presentation, we are having the lunch break, students. So before we begin with the poster evaluation, I invite all the delegates, faculty members, and participants to join for the lunch in the designated dining area. But few instructions are there before that. Before lunch, all poster presenters are requested to display their posters at the allocated locations of the first and second floor. On the first floor, poster number 1 to 24, and on the second floor, poster number 25 to 51 need to be pasted. Our volunteers will assist you in that. Please be back at your posters at 2 p.m. sharp. Poster evaluation will start 2 p.m. sharp. Be prepared to briefly present your work and interact with our evaluators. Enjoy your lunch, and we look forward for your presentation in the afternoon. Thank you so much.